What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we're going to be doing something today that a lot of you have been asking me to do for a while now, and I'm actually going to go ahead and tackle it, and that is going over every artifact and what it does, including some gameplay to show you guys the actual effects. So we're going to start off with some of the easy ones just to kind of get them off the plate. I'm going to explain to you guys what they do, how they function, and where you want to see them and where you want to use them. Okay, so first off, let's start off with artifact, the easiest one to go through, and that is going to be the Toughness set. Now the Toughness set gives you a user critical hit rate by 8% and also gives the 4-piece set gives the critical hit damage by 32%. Now one thing to note, this is very important guys, the actual crit amount and crit damage amount are not displayed in the stat sheet. None of these passives are actually displayed in the stat sheet. They're going to be only visible in the actual game. So currently I have 50%. That extra 2-piece will put me at 58%, and that crit damage will put me over to 200%, 206%, 207%, etc. Based on what I have here. Okay, so very important to remember that. Now, there's really no need to show you guys how this one works. It's pretty straightforward, so I just want to get that one off the plate. You'll visibly see it. If your crit's low, you get an extra 8%. It'll raise your crit up. Your crit damage should also hit a little more. You guys can watch this in gameplay at any moment in time. What I want to show you guys are ones that actually have effects that you can visibly see in the game. So let's go over to the next one here, and that is going to be Cha's artifact set, and that's going to be the lion set. So the black, it's called arm set essentially. So this is it's very similar to how the crit set works. It gives you, the 2-piece gives you attack at 5%, and when attacking, the user ignores 15% of the target's defense. So this is not to be mistaken by defense penetration. This is an extra 15% on top of that. Very, very powerful set. This actually has been changed because it used to say attack and defense. The 4-piece set now is actually viable for any DPS, whether they're HP or base or not, because anyone that has a lot of HP, like bosses for example, this 15% is a massive boost, even though the 5% doesn't apply. Okay, so this set here, again, very, very noticeable and visible. Just try it out in the game, you'll see it yourself. Nothing I actually have to show you guys. All right, let's move on to something that I do actually have to show you guys, and that is the dragon set, also known as the solid foundation. Now this one here will actually increase the basic attack, but what I want to show you guys is how the core attack here works and how much faster it does generate. Okay, so normally what would happen when you are fighting any unit or any bad guy with any unit without that set, a core attack would take 6 actual attacks to be visibly visible at that point. Okay, so you have to do 6 basic attacks for the core attack to actually pop up. So let me show you guys. Let's go to our friendly bear that we love to beat up on and show you guys how this one works. Okay, so here we go. Now let me put in Beck, and I'll show you guys someone without that actual set. Okay, so we use a normal set, and then we use a normal set, and then we use the solid foundation set, and show you guys the difference. Okay, so let's put in somebody else right now. Let's put in Jinchul. So watch my basic attacks and watch the ring around the basic attacks build up. Okay, this always hits now. I don't know, it's a bug. I don't know why it does that. 1, 2. So here's one attack, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You see that? Now I have my core attack. The icon changed, right? There we go. Now I can do my core attack. Now watch what happens when you actually have the proper set on, okay? Watch this. 1, see how it builds a little more? 2, 3, and 4. See, 4 attack, and your 5th attack is your core set. So instead of having to do 7 attacks altogether to get your core up and running, you have to do only 4. Now this also applies to all your skills as well. So normally skills give you core, but this now will give it to you even faster. So your skills will actually build up your core set even more. So watch this. All right, let's just say I do a skill. Look at that. Look how much faster that built up. Normally you'd have to do 3 skills to get a core going. This you only have to do 2 and your core is up and running. Okay, so very important. Watch this. 1, right? 2, and then I'd have to do a 3rd one, and even sometimes a 4th one. So watch this. Let's do another one. 3, yeah, look, 4 skills to get that up, right? And 4. See, it's up now. I didn't do any basic attacks there at all. So very important, guys, for anyone who relies on core attacks, that dragon set, the solid foundation set, is very, very, very important. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, now let's go over to another set real quick, and I'll show you guys some other ones and how they work. Let's talk about the destroyer set. Okay, so now this one here, I'm going to tell you guys right now, does not stack. So do not Do not assume that it does. It does not stack, and it will not stack. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys Let's keep these guys in. We'll put Min in this time, okay? So Min here actually has the Destroyer set on. I'll show you guys real quick. And what the Destroyer set does is it allows you to gain power gauge acquisition by 20% more, and then when you enter the battle you actually gain 50% of your full ultimate bar right away, and also increases your team members power gauge acquisition by 20%. So not only are you benefiting yourself, but you're also benefiting your whole team. And it's very important for someone like Min to have something like that, because he already gives you power gauge and it stacks with his skills, but it doesn't stack with the actual sets themselves. So don't try to stack 4 of them or 3 of them. It's not going to work, guys. It never has and it never will. Okay, so just one set is fine in the battlefield, but if you do have a unit like Min who does actually have power gauge increase already as it is, it will stack with his skills, making it even more powerful, right? So this is why it's so important to have him with this set, because it'll allow him to even boost your power gauge for your team even more. So watch what happens. Look at my power gauge here. I start off with 50%. You guys can see his ultimate already has 50% in there. And now when I hit people or when I do skills, look how much faster that builds up. Look how fast that's going, right? And this applies also to other units. So let's see a hit here. It's fine. Perfect. Let's do some more damage. And now watch. When I leave out, you're going to see somebody come in and watch. Look how fast his now builds, right? That's 20% faster now than you've ever used to. So make sure, guys, if you are using a lot of units that require their specials, and their specials that will do most of the damage, that you bring a Destroyer set unit here as well. It'll make you pop off way faster than you normally would. So there you guys go. That is how the Destroyer set works. Just keep in mind, again, guys, the effect does not stack. Very important to note that, okay? All right, let's move on to something else. Let's talk about let's see what else we have as a set real quick. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's keep going with the bear here, so I can show you guys some extra attacks here. Breaker set. Okay, actually the bear doesn't have a breaker set, so let's fight somebody who has a break. Bears, goblins. Perfect. Okay, so let's go with a couple different breakers here. So first one we'll use is Saw here, and you guys can see here she actually has the non-break set. She has the crit set on instead, right? And then we're going to go ahead and put someone like Nam in here instead, who does actually have the set. Now let me explain how the set works. So the 2-piece set, the user's damage dealt to enemies in the break state is increased by 15%. If you want to know what the break state is, I have a full video on how that works. So whenever somebody loses their full bar, they get 15% more damage. If they recover that bar, they lose that 15%. If you break it again, you do it again. If somebody only has 1 bar, that 15% will last the entire battle. So that's 15% more damage to that unit with the break bar. The limitation, of course, is the opponent doesn't have a break bar, it's useless. So when attacking enemy that have elemental weakness, the break effect increases by 30%. So here you guys can see here, when you have the elemental weakness on the opponent, you'll do 30% more damage. Just keep that in mind as well too, okay? So the break set only really applies if the elemental advantage is there. It doesn't actually do anything if the elemental advantage is not there, okay? So keep that in mind. So for this fight specifically, we can go ahead and target Cerberus and do a quick Cerberus run, okay? So we'll do this. We'll do a T10, and let me go to my Cerb run. And I'm actually going to change units up a tad bit here, okay? We're going to actually put Nam in here, and I'm going to show you guys the difference between the set versus the non-set, okay? So Nam's breaking abilities versus Saw's breaking abilities. So let's just go with Saw in here first, and I'll show you guys her break abilities and the damage she does, and then we'll use Nam here to show you guys the difference, obviously. Now, it is 2 different units, of course. I could just show you Nam with and without it. I just am lazy right now to do that, but you guys can see here, look, the difference here between a breaker with the set versus a breaker without the set. Now let's put her in, and watch how fast I quickly break this. Again, elemental advantage is huge, right? So you guys can see this. I already did a showcase for you guys yesterday on her, but this is just a quick example of how much faster she breaks stuff with that set versus without it, okay? And again, I could show you guys this without, I just don't want to spend the gold right now. I don't have a lot. It's pretty late at night, so that's the main reason why I don't want to do it. But there you guys go. That break set will do a lot more damage. Now, everybody here who has that break set on will actually cause more damage to the opponent by 15%, right? And that's the whole point of it, is to have that extra 15% more damage now with this set on you. Okay, so there you guys go. That is the break set. I just want to show you guys that real quick. Again, if you guys want to check out the full video on it, I have a full video on break with and without it and how much of a difference it makes. The video is available on my channel. Search break and you'll be able to find it there, okay? Alright guys, next up we have the Holy set. Now this set here, 2-piece, gives you guys the user HP by 8%, so that raises that, and also decreases the attack by the user by 8%, but also increases all of the team members 8%. Now this one, I want to just make this clear. This set only works when you're with other hunters. It will not work if you are support. Jinnu does not get this bonus. From any testing I've done, I've actually never seen this actually work. So just real quick, just so you guys are aware, that is not something that will actually change anything in regards to that. But if you are using hunters and you are in hunter mode, or if you are in a raid, for example the POD against the dragon, this actually will apply to Jinnu only then, and other hunters of course you'll be able to use at any point in time. So just real quick, wanted to make sure everybody understood that one, because I know a lot of people struggle with that concept, but I want to make sure that everyone understood it. Now the one hit kill also is a pretty big one here, just so everyone is aware. Increases ultimate skill damage by 25% is a massive one for any units like Choi, who can cast them pretty often. And it's, of course, this works really well with anybody who has a destroyer set. So having a destroyer set unit plus a one hit kill unit is massive, because not only do you do more ultimates more often, but you also decrease the cooldown of your ultimates by 40%, allowing you to cast this way more. So if you look at my Choi, for example, right here, he actually has this full set on. Right there you guys go, and with his A5, because he gets to do the ultimate way more often due to that A5 ability right there, you guys can see while tagging out, the cooldown passes 3 times faster, and the power gauge increases by 0.5% every second. This allows him to do the ultimate and does massive amounts of damage, guys. So that is the one hit kill set. I just want to make sure that everyone understood that one, and that's essentially the best one to use with somebody else who also has the set for you that allows you to gain more power, the destroyer set, right? And then lastly, the only last one that we haven't talked about yet is the shield set, guys. Now this one here, the user shield effect increases by 30%, so this is only for units that have shields. Will the 2-piece work? And then the 4-piece, when a team member including the user activates a shield, it increases their individual damage dealt by 10%. Emma and Saw are amazing with these, by the way. So those two are going to be very strong with this. Saw, especially if you plan to use her with Alicia, will benefit greatly from this set. Okay, so again, won't show you guys how those ones work because it's very visible and easy to see, but I just wanted to go over all of the artifacts here. Now let's talk a little bit about accessories. All right, accessories are a big one, obviously, so this one is going to matter quite a bit. So let me go start off with Jinnu, and I'll show you how some of his accessories work. So let's go back to Battlefield of Trials and go back to our friendly little bear. Actually, I'll go here. And his set right here, right? If we look at Jinnu's set, he's got the expert set on. Now the expert set 2-piece is simple. Whenever you land a crit, the user has a 25% chance to increase his attack. It can go up to 100 times. The 4-piece set though gives you a 50% chance rate and doubles that amount. Okay, so you guys can see here how this is going to work very shortly. You'll be able to see all the numbers pop up, and in the bottom where the buffs are, you'll see that attack number spike up every time I do a crit at a 50% chance rate. Okay, so let's take a look and see how this plays out. See if I can move finally. There we go. Now watch the bar. So you guys see that on the right, you guys see the far right one, 3, you guys can see 4, right? Every single time that's getting up there, I get an attack bonus. There's 5, 6, and that's 1.8% attack, right? So you guys can see 7, 8, and that can go 100 times, guys. 9, 10. So this is great with a multi-attacking weapon. If you have a multi-attack weapon, it'll stack very quickly, especially if you use the scythe, for example, because it also gives you additional crit when your HP is lower. You'll stack it. Look, I'm at 12 already, 13, 14, etc., right? And that will continuously stack. Now, one thing I want to point out for you guys, for hunters, if you do decide to put that on them, if you tag out, you will not lose the set bonus. Okay, you will actually keep it, so you can come back in and that stack will remain. All right, so that's how that one works. That's a very visible and easy one to tell. Now, Executor, okay, and the Execution, or I think it's called Executor, and the Berserker set. I want to talk about those real quick because they're easy ones to go through, and I don't have to really show them. Very straightforward ones there for that one, guys. So let's find somebody who has, actually, you know what? Let's just go to the sets. So let's go to somebody who has the skeleton set. There it is. Okay, this one's called the Berserker. Now this is straightforward. When the user's HP, so the person who has this equipped, HP drops below 50%, they do a flat 15% extra damage to the opponent. Okay, if you have the 4P set, and this is where it gets important, the HP condition changes to 70% and the damage dealt becomes 30%. So this is very powerful for those who lose HP like Beck, or if you're willing to take a few hits just to drop your HP below 70%, you're going to be doing 30% throughout the entire battle. So very, very powerful, okay? Now the tag out set is also very strong here too. Whenever you tag out, so whether you do QTE or you just leave the field with this unit, you actually increase everyone's attack by 12% for 10 seconds, and then this is the cooldown is 20 seconds on this, or increase the attack effect by 28% for 15 seconds. So there's a 5-second cooldown between the two sets. Very, very strong to bring for units that are not meant to DPS, but are instead meant to support. So that's why Min is perfect with this one, okay? Another really good set is going to be the Executioner set. Now, instead of you losing HP, it's when the opponent loses HP. So whenever you attack an opponent with 40% or less, you do 8% more damage, but this one here, the 4P set, is when you do 70% HP condition to the opponent. So when the opponent has 70% or below, you do 20% more damage. Now, there's always been contention between this and the skeleton one. This one does 10% less damage than the skeleton one does, but you don't have to take damage in order for this to proc. The opponent has to take damage instead. These are much stronger and much better during faster fights, and the skeleton ones are much stronger and much better during longer fights. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are doing these things, and put that in the back of your mind as something you should note. All right, next one. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have ourselves, let's look at the artifacts. Oh, Champion on the Field. This is a good one. Increases the user's attack by 5% for 4 seconds when landing a critical hit. This is actually good over the Expert set, which is the one that I showed with Jinnu, because if you're going through a fast fight here, this is much better to use, because you'll stack attack up to 4 instances with the 4P set by just doing crits, and you can get yourself a total of 20% attack very, very quickly and very easily by using this set, okay? And then lastly, if you are going to go with fast battles, this set is great for everybody. So the Very set here, the 2P set, increases the skill consumption for MP by 20%, but also increases the user's damage dealt by 5%, and the cooldowns are reduced by 5%. The 4P set, on the other hand, gives you 18% more damage, and also the skill reduction is down by 18. So whenever you're doing fast battles and you want the raw damage right away with a little bit more MP consumption, the Very set works for pretty much every single unit out there. So there you guys go. Those are all the sets fully explained. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. I apologize that I didn't go through everything in gameplay, but I don't think a lot of it needs to be explained. I just want to show you guys some of the important ones and go over those, because those can actually be visibly noticeable in the game. Some of these other ones you'll just have to test, or take my word on it, because you know I've done all the testing for you guys already in other videos. All right guys, this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.